Fantastic that you could join us today. It's absolutely brilliant to see so many people interested in this particular topic. So the session today is done jointly by HPCA, so the Healthcare Project and Change Association, and with Sophie Lawrence for the Association for Project Management. And this is one of 4 sessions that we're doing around professional development, and this is the first one. And this one is focusing on insights for people aspiring to careers in project and change management in the healthcare sector. It may be you're already in that first role, or it may be that you're wanting to move into this space. But this is all aimed at this area to help you start and build your career going forward. Just a little bit from me in terms of the Healthcare Project and Change Association. It's an association supporting the development of the project and change profession in the healthcare sector. And we provide education and training for all, so for everybody at all levels. And it's really important because everybody gets involved in projects and change. But this is aimed at those that want a career in project management. And I am Jo Stanford. I'm the head of HPCA, but also I am a project professional. I am a chartered project professional with the APM and also a fellow of the APM. And a little bit about my kind of background. I started off as a project manager in the private sector, moved into the healthcare sector working for DHSC, and then developed into program management, portfolio management, then became head of profession. And the APM membership has been a core part of that journey for me. So along the way, as part of my career development, I did the APM's foundation qualification and then practitioner qualification, and then became chartered, and then from chartered became a fellow. And on that journey, one of the things that was really key for me in terms of being a part of that profession was being a member of my local branch, which was Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire, and then becoming a committee member and finding out all about how those events were run and putting on events that would really add value. I know Sophie's going to cover all of that fabulous stuff, but I just wanted to let you know that that was my journey, and that's why I'm so enthusiastic about bringing the APM here to talk about how being a part of the APM can really support your career development. And then collectively as a community within the healthcare sector, we can support the profession to become embedded and grow and develop. So this is a fantastic opportunity. So welcome everybody. And Sophie, if I can hand over to you now, that'd be fantastic. We'll do questions and answers at the end. So if you want to post them in the Q&A bit of the chat, do start posting them, because the ones that get the most votes are the ones that are going to get answered. So do get in there early. So Sophie, over to you.
Thank you. I hope somebody can share my presentation, because I haven't got the power at this end, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Let's get your slides up.
It might just be that I need to be set as a presenter.
Yeah, maybe change that.
Yes, sorry, I'm Sophie Lawrence. I'm the Partnership Development Manager. I look after the corporate account that HPCA have, as well as many other public sector and charity accounts across the country. As a membership body, we are really pleased to have an opportunity to speak with you today and run through the outline of what we're all about as an organisation, and the different ways that we operate and the things that are available to you as individuals. So if I can now share my screen, so that's great. So I'm just going to click on to my welcome, and thank you for your time today. So as a first session, we were really looking at that entry level, that beginning of the journey, and that awareness piece of the APM, because I'm sure there are people amongst you that are not familiar with the APM and the work that we do. So I think that's the first question that I have, and we have a little quick poll to run as well. If you can share on the poll, if you're familiar with the APM, have you heard of the APM? Do you know anything about us? A simple yes, no on the poll would be great. So I can't see anything other than my screen. So
it's popping up on the screen for me, so I'll just share with you as the results come in.
Okay, we'll give everyone a minute.
20 responses so far. 13 said yes, so that's a good start.
Okay.
One said no, sorry. One said ready. That's a curious response. So yeah,
some awareness, so that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So at least half are aware of the APM, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, and you know, the work that we do as an education charity is quite broad, and I think it's important to highlight that we are here for the professional body. As a standalone profession as well, we've been working very hard in this space to elevate that awareness. We are the only chartered organisation for the project profession, but we all know we have other areas of our work as well. So obviously, as an education charity, any profits that we do generate do go back into the work that we do, and that is in lots of different ways, and I'll sort of elaborate on that as we go forward. But I wondered again, as one of our poll questions, if anyone would like to take a stab in the dark as to how many years we've been operating in this space as the Association for Project Management. We'll give everyone a minute just to have a stab at that one if you're familiar with us.
Straight in there with 50 years as a starting point, but others are going lower than that. So we've got a range between sort of 7 years and 50 so far. There's nobody going higher than that, but there's a range between 7 and 50. So if somebody's put no clue, sorry.
No, and that is exactly what I was anticipating, because unless you're in this space, you might not have heard of the Association for Project Management, and you're completely forgiven for not being aware of that. But we are 50 years. We celebrated our 50th anniversary last year, which was a really great moment for us to reflect on the work that we've been doing as an organisation, but also the amazing project work that's been going on in society during those decades, and successes from everything from the London Olympics right through to recently with the rollout of the COVID vaccine and all the projects that were associated with that. So yeah, I mean, it still gives me goose pimples to think of 50 years in this space. So you know, we've got a great heritage and history within the project management area, hence why we are so well known and trusted if you're in those circles. So the work that we do, like I said, does span different areas. So we are a professional membership body. We have at current count over 40,000 individual members. We work with over 450 corporate partners. So those are the organisations that have paired up or joined with us to work closely and roll out the work that we have within their organisations. We have chartered over 3,000 individuals internationally. It is an internationally recognised chartership, with the only place that can charter individuals in this space. And we have an elite group of over 3,000 at the moment, but I'll touch on that a bit more later on. Annually, we award over 18,000 qualifications. 18,000 qualifications a year, and we deliver over 200 different continuous professional development activities each year as well. And we've got a really vibrant community of over 500 volunteers and ambassadors. So like Joe said, that involvement with us as an organisation can be can form many different shapes, but our volunteers are a really vibrant element of what we do, and we're very thankful and proud of the work that they do regionally. So we'll talk about that too. So these are just a snapshot of some of the organisations that we work with, both public and private sector, large and small, and we are a pan-sector organisation. So it's not just a case of construction, for example. There are all sorts of projects going on in all sorts of different areas. So this is absolutely transferable. And I think really important to point out that it's the big and the small as well. So in every organisation, there's at some point there'll be an opportunity for somebody with experience and qualifications within the project space to flourish. So that's a little overview. Obviously, this is always changing. We're welcoming new corporate partners all the time, but these are the ones that a snapshot of some of the ones that we work with at the moment, some of those 450 plus. So the membership part of what we do, I don't want to sort of bang the drum too much about this. It's, you know, I'm not here to sell anything particularly. It's really just for that awareness piece, just to understand that our membership body has different levels of membership. So we have a student membership, obviously for those that are in education, as long as you are 16 or over, you can apply for free student membership. We have an associate level membership, which is a click of a button. There is a fee associated to that, but does not require that you have any existing qualifications or experience in project management. It gives you access to a whole host of resources and tools for those that are interested in learning more about project management and what we do. It's at full membership level that you are going to submit an application, and at that point you would need to have a number of years of project experience under your belt to demonstrate the requirements for full membership. And it's at that stage in membership that you gain the post-nominals of MAPM after your name, which you can then use on your CV, LinkedIn, etc. It just quite clearly demonstrates to the wider project community or employment opportunities that you have the experience required to obtain full membership. And then at the top end there, like Jo said herself, we have fellowship. So at this point, we would hope that those that have been full members for a number of years would consider becoming a fellow, and at this point they are contributing significantly back into the profession. So they might be having research printed or published, or they're delivering to communities beyond their own organisation. They might be teaching or mentoring, those sorts of activities to contribute back to the profession. The resources available across those different memberships are essentially the same. There's a little bit more to the associate membership level than there is to student member, but on the whole the resources are the same. It's really the post-nominals with a full membership that are the point of difference. So whatever your stage of career, you have appropriate resources available to you in terms of continuous professional development, access to white papers and research that we have, and again those really critical networking opportunities as well. Recently we've added in the mentor program to associate, full and fellowship levels. It doesn't apply to students, and that's where you can request as many mentors as you like to support you at various points in your career. So particularly at the moment, we're seeing a spike in those looking for mentors to support them in their chartership journey. But like I said, you can have as many as you like, and can be for all sorts of different professional goals that you might have. Some people might even have a request for a mentor if they're looking to become a full member, for example. They might want somebody from beyond their organisation that's within the association's network to help and guide them in that process and building that application, for example. So that's a piece that's been particularly popular at the moment amongst all the other resources to members. So which level is suitable for me? So like I said, at this stage, we're assuming that you're either new to project management or you're interested in getting into project management. So I wanted just to kind of give a summary of the student membership. Obviously, this does only apply if you are if you are studying in some capacity, but this does also include apprenticeships as well. So like I said, it's free throughout the duration of your course. You have all of the same resources available as the other membership levels, except that mentoring piece, and again the post-nominals. So you can see there that all the main points of having the digital badge, the digital body of knowledge, for example, the competence framework, the MyCPD log, which is really useful to monitor and track your CPT hours, the self-assessment tool for the competence framework, all of those, e-learning platform, etc. They're all available to students. So within that membership, you do have that APM learning platform, access to that very vibrant APM community, that all those networking opportunities, and the continuous professional development resources and tracker. And another part of what we do is our qualifications, and I must stress that you do not need to be a member to take our qualifications, and you don't have to have taken any of our qualifications to become a member. That this isn't like another branch to the activity that we do. So we've developed a number of qualifications suitable for different stages in your career. At this stage, in early years, we would be promoting the Project Fundamentals qualification, or the PFQ as it's commonly referred to. So that would be your starting point if you're fresh into projects, or like I said, perhaps you work on peripheries and want to have a more formal understanding of what projects are about. And at this qualification, we're really getting under the skin of the language and terminology within the project world. This qualification is a 1-hour multiple choice exam, and it is what we refer to as a knowledge-based qualification. So there are self-studying resources available to you. There will be lots of approved providers that can also deliver this qualification or the content for the qualification, but this one can be self-studied as well. They are generally taken virtually as well, so it's or remotely, it's probably the better word. So you can take this exam from home. It's an online exam, multiple choice, like I said. Following that one, we have the PMQ, but I'm not going to go too much into detail on to that one. So after a few years of experience, you'd perhaps be looking at the PMQ, and then the next one along from that is the PPQ, or the APM Project Professional Qualification. So by which point you would need a number of years of active project management under your belt to be successful at that point. The PMQ is still a knowledge-based exam, and the PPQ is more reflective on, we're looking to assess what you've actually been doing and the projects and work that you've been doing. So it's your opportunity to demonstrate your competencies. So this slide gives you a little bit of a summary on in terms of duration of experience within the field, the type of individual membership level that you might have, and which qualification might fit. And this isn't to say that you need to do them systematically, starting at the beginning and working your way through. If actually you have been working in projects and are now learning about the APM, you might feel that one of the other qualifications are more suitable for your level of experience. But for the purposes of today, we're assuming your entry level, and so that beginning, the fundamentals at the beginning there gives you the structure of where you would go from there. So that slide helps just to visually put that together. And the number of years experience are a guide. It's not by no means a fixed requirement, but just to give you a flavour of what that might look like. And again, on this slide, we have that illustration in terms of your membership level, the qualifications that you might be doing, but also the job titles and the phase in your career that you might be at. So you can align yourself with that. There might be other qualifications that you already have that you can see on there that would depict where you might be looking to start your journey. But certainly at that support level, that early career, we would be looking at the fundamentals qualification, supported by your student or your associate membership. And then at the other end of your career, we would hope that you'd be aspiring to become chartered, and at that stage you'd perhaps have your full or even fellow membership. So a nice clear career framework from our perspective. As corporate partners, organisations have the opportunity to partner with us as an organisation at that business to business level. This does give the communities within those organisations enhanced resources and tools through the corporate hub, but it also gives those organisations an opportunity to have a voice around the table when it comes to developing the project profession. We're very keen to think outside of the box, to challenge the status quo, to push forward and develop the sector. So this gives our organisations an opportunity to get together and really chew the fat, if you like, on some of those hot topics. It gives them an opportunity to often be involved in some of the research papers that we get, we do, perhaps even sponsor a few things and activities that we do. So it really gives the organisation a voice. And I think it's important for individuals within those organisations to also understand that it depicts and illustrates their level of commitment to the profession as well. So they're really looking to embed the APM's body of knowledge and competence framework into the day-to-day within those professional practices, so that you know that your work is aligned to the chartered body for the project profession, and what you're doing is very similar to what other organisations with this same sort of relationship are doing. You're speaking the same sort of language. Obviously sectors might vary, but the theme is consistent. So those competencies and the body of knowledge are consistent. So like I said, as a subscriber to the HPCA, you would then become associated with that organisation that has that corporate partnership, and therefore will have unlocked some additional resources to you through the corporate hub. And there's a way of doing that so that you have visibility of that corporate hub area. But within that corporate hub, you would have our CPD opportunities and our competence framework, as well as the self-assessment tool to help you track and plan your progress and your knowledge as your career develops. You would have a myriad of resources that the system would direct you to where you've identified any gaps in your understanding. For example, if perhaps with the competence framework there's some areas that you're very strong and other areas that you're not, which is normally the case, the platform would direct you to some resources to fill those gaps. It also might create an opportunity for you to have a conversation with senior management in terms of your exposure to different types of projects and level of involvement in different areas of those projects as well. CPD obviously takes many formats, and that can be that you've spent time reading an article or our project journal magazine, for example, or our award-winning publication, or it could be that you've attended a branch conference, or that you've attended one of our APM conferences. It might be that you've listened to a podcast. There are all sorts of different formats for continuous professional development. So that's one of the areas that you would have access to through that corporate hub. Like I said, the project journal is on there as well. You have a digital copy of the project journal and all the backlog as well of all the other publications over the months. That one's released quarterly. So a lot of reading research there for you. We have our publications, like I said, our podcasts, and opportunities to attend things that are specifically for our corporate partners. And this slide is just a snapshot of some of the events that we host, large and small, throughout the country. Our flagship events, such as the APM Awards at the end of the year. We have our Women in Project Management coming up in September. These are our bigger flagship APM events where we have some really enthusiastic, passionate, knowledgeable individuals share with us on various topics. But also, with our awards, for example, we're highlighting some of the amazing work that goes on within the project community in different shapes and sizes, so really sharing successes. We also have our branch activities that are going on as well regionally, and our specific interest groups as well. So lots of different opportunities to attend in person and network, but also some of those are available to attend virtually too. So as it stands at the moment, we have 14 specific interest groups and 13 branches. So the branches are regional. So I'd encourage you to have a look on our website and express an interest in your local branch, see where where you might be able to contribute into the content of those branches, but also the activities that they're doing that you might like to attend as a delegate and to learn to add to your continuous professional development. The specific interest groups, again, you can express an interest in as many of those as you like. It might be something that you want to know more about. It might be something that's topical within your organisation. It might be something that you do know a great deal about and you want to share and feed into the profession that way. So lots of different opportunities. So this little roundup gives you an idea of where those branches are located. And like I said, a lot of their activity is still also available to attend virtually. So don't sort of feel that it's not on your doorstep and therefore not accessible. Lots of those activities are still very accessible. And it doesn't have to be just the one branch that you connect with. It might be that you're near to two, for example. Whatever works for you is fine. So do express an interest, and you don't have to be committing hours to joining the committee and you know, it becoming a chore. It literally can be as much as or as little as is suitable and appropriate for you at this time. It might just be that you want to hear about what they're doing so that you can decide whether or not you want to attend as a delegate. It might be that you are available to have support on that evening and meet and greet, for example, but that is completely up to you. The branches are always very warm and welcoming and enthusiastic of members. So please don't feel that it's going to be a big ask and you're going to be committed to a lot more than you're comfortable with. Here we have the list of the different specific interest groups. Just as it stands at the moment, there is talk of things changing, but at the moment these are the specific interest groups, and it's the Women in Project Management that actually started our flagship event in September, and that's just become so big that we're more involved in that particular event. So I just wanted to round up with where to find the different resources. There's an awful lot of information on our website available to anybody within the resources area. The second tab along, you have our membership options, and like I said, the associate membership is just a click of a button and a payment, but it's that full membership that you are going to submit a written application. All the guidelines are in there if you're interested to know more. Chartership, again, is visible to everybody. We're really keen to promote the existence of the chartership and encourage people to do that if that's right for them. It might be that you're going to aspire to that at some stage in your career, but for an awareness piece, all of the information that you need to complete that application are there within the chartered area. Guidelines, matrix tools, webinars that you can attend, all there for you to make the most of. The qualifications and training area gives you a bit more detail into the different qualifications and the costs associated to them. There is a discount on qualifications if you are an individual member, so that's worth being aware of, as well as discounts to events and things as well if you're a full member. And then I just wanted to skip along to the other side where you're going to create a profile and register in order to access a corporate hub when that's appropriate for you. And then the events page again is visible to everybody to be able to see a calendar summary of what's happening and when. So that's an area to investigate as well. So it's within your within your profile rather that you're going to see the corporate hub become available once you've linked to the corporate partner. So that's not going to be visible if you're just having a look on the website. It's actually unlocked, if you will, once you're an employee of a corporate partner. So that's what you'd be looking for. And within this dashboard area with that second ribbon, you can set up your comms preferences. You can input details about your career, your qualifications, areas that you're interested in, and this all helps with the profiling of sending you information that we feel is relevant and of interest to you. So I think we've got a little bit of time now. If there's any questions in the chat, please do feel free to reach out to me. My email's on there. I'm more than happy to take questions after the session if anything comes up afterwards. But it's always nice if there are a few questions. I don't know if there are, Joe.
Yes, well, not in the Q&A section, but a couple of people posted questions in the chat, so I'll ask those. So if anybody on the call wants to ask Sophie a specific question, stick your hand up, and while I'm asking this couple of questions, we'll then get to you and you can ask Sophie directly, okay? Don't be shy, come on, ask your questions. This is your opportunity. So whilst people are finding how to put their hands up, there was a question, quite a good question about what's the difference between the APM and the HPCA.
Ah.
So we can do a little bit between us, I think, on that one.
Yes.
So the HPCA is really, it's only here to represent the healthcare sectors and the people within it. And we work directly with both the people who work here and the organisations to support their implementation of standards and frameworks and apprenticeship programmes and tools and templates, and also supporting the sector to build its workforce capacity and capability. So this is about us working with organisations on the ground and individuals as part of that. And it's a bit like if you're a finance professional working in healthcare, you would be a part of the Healthcare Financial Management Association, so HFMA, but there is still a standards professional body that is pan-sector and outside of health, which provides that accredited chartership for professional standards and accreditation. So if you're a finance professional, you might be a member of CIMA or SIPFA or one of those other finance acronyms. So Sophie, does that make sense from your perspective from the APM?
Yes. So yes, we're that pan-sector organisation that, like you say, develop qualifications that are specific to project management, but are translatable to all of those different organisations, large and small. And so it's with our support that you're able to direct people to the right resources that we offer for your community. Does that sound about
Absolutely, right? Yeah. And we're here to help you to translate those into the health sector and to implement them. Okay, so the next question we have was, how do I sign up to be a student member?
I think it's literally a click of a button, and you might need to just give us some details about, what what you're studying and how long that's going to be on for and where, etc. I think it's within that, it'll be within that membership section on the top ribbon on the left hand side, but it will just be a case of clicking on that button and giving us those details.
And do people need to be registered on a particular kind of course already to qualify for that student membership?
I don't think specifically, no. I think you could be doing a degree in business but have an interest in projects and therefore want to have that student membership. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's good to know. So we have another question from Sonia, that this is a bit more about how to then take that next step. So Sonia says that she's completed a foundation apprenticeship in project management, but is waiting for that breakthrough opportunity to get a role. So what would you recommend? And
it is getting your foot in the door that is the challenge, isn't it? And I think with project management, we know there is so many opportunities, and we as an organisation, we predict there's actually going to be a significant shortage of skills going forward with the scale and range of projects that we as a society will be embarking on. So don't give up, but it is difficult to get your foot in the door, because obviously organisations are often looking for some experience. So then it'd be a case of thinking about what you are doing and how we can talk about that in project language. And I think you'll agree, Joe, I think quite often people are doing projects without really thinking about it being a formal project, or they might be approaching their work in a project way, although they're not project managers in their title. So it's looking for those opportunities of explaining those transferable skills, and also expressing where you are. If there is an opportunity for you to be involved in something that might not be your active role per se, but is there, and I'm sure there always will be, things going on in other departments and other areas where you could perhaps do a little bit of shadowing, or just letting people know what your intentions are can help direct you to that exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree with that completely. So Sonia, if you within your organization, if you find out who's your head of profession or who's head of PMO in your organization, and go and introduce yourself if you don't know them already, and tell them you're interested, because everybody's always looking for prospective project managers, and there's always an opportunity, as Sophie said, to maybe do a bit of shadowing, to join them, to join your local community. But also through the HPCA, you can join the network. And if you join your regional network, you can put the call out there and say, look, I'm looking for an opportunity. Does anybody have one to get involved with? So being part of the community and getting involved is really critical, because it gets you the contacts, and it's the contacts that get you jobs. And that's advice for everybody. That's the best way of getting a job, is getting yourself known. So get involved locally within your organisation, and also join the wider network. I've got a couple of other questions that have come up in the chat. So a specific one from Deborah around, does the Golden Jubilee National Hospital enrol staff in your courses? Deborah, you're going to need to talk to your learning and development team directly. But are you connected with Abu? So Abu is our regional network lead for Scotland, and he's also at Golden Jubilee. So if I connect you with him, if you're not already connected, then he can let you know what's available education and training wise within Golden Jubilee. So let me know if you need an introduction, okay? And then let me just have a quick look at this question. So a question from Shevin. Hi everyone, I'm from the Health Research Authority. How does this qualification fit with other qualifications? Say if you've had project management as part of a degree programme and also have Prince 2 practitioner and Agile practitioner, and have some years of project management experience in the NHS.
It's a good one. It comes up a lot. The way that I describe it is that we are not a method-based qualification. So Prince 2, for example, is a methodology, whereas our qualifications are more holistic. We're looking at really developing and recognising the skill set of that well-rounded, softer skill approach to project management. So they have their place, but what we do is different. And our qualifications have that clear career pathway to chartership, in that understanding of our competence framework and the body of knowledge as well. Is there anything else I can add to that? I don't.
No, I think that's a really important distinction. So again, whether you look at something like Prince 2 or Agile or Lean or Six Sigma, the Virginia Mason, they're all methodologies, and they are particular kinds of methodologies that are for particular kinds of projects. It's like having a tool in the toolbox, but the APM qualifications give you the skills to be able to use those tools. So they're two slightly different things. And what you might want to do is have a look at the course guides for the APM, or if you've got a few years of experience, you can apply for something like chartership. If you look at the guidance for it and say, well, actually, I've applied the learning in practice, I've done that learning, and you can go through an experiential route. If you don't have the qualifications, they're not a requirement, but they can help if you're just starting off on that journey.
We do recognise the prior learning of Prince 2, certainly with the PMQ. There's a specific route to the project management qualification, because you have already got that prior learning with Prince 2. But yes, with chartership, if you've got that breadth and depth of project experience under your belt, you don't need to have done any of the other qualifications that we offer.
Okay, excellent. We have another question, this one from Carla. How do I know which of the two courses is best for me? Now, Carla, we're not entirely sure which two you're talking about specifically. Did you want to come on camera and just specify which one and let us know what your options are?
Hi, yes, I was asking about the HPCA and the APM because we went through the difference and then I wondered, how do I know which one is best for me?
Okay, so they're not necessarily courses. So these are associations. So this is about being a member as a professional. So the APM does accredited training for project professionals, but it's also a member association. So you can join both. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from being part of both. The APM is pan-sector, so if you have a career that wants to take you in different places, you might want to go in finance, work in finance, or construction, or the legal sector, or IT. Being a member of the APM means that you can take those skills and transfer them anywhere. The HPCA is really aimed at those working in healthcare, and we have networks of people working in healthcare so they can meet and network and connect with each other, share learning, and we help individuals and organisations with their career development within the healthcare sector. But it's not necessarily an either or option. In fact, you're probably better off with both, because there's the bit about how do I do my job and how do I connect with people in the NHS versus how do I get my career and direction of travel going. So that's the thing. They do two different things, but it's worth signing up to both. But thanks for asking the question.
Thank you, Jo.
The questions are pouring in now. How do we choose a course provider? Looking at the fundamentals, there's a variety of providers and costs. Now, Sophie, you've got guidance on your website about accredited training providers, haven't you?
We've accredited a number of different education providers up and down the country. Many organisations will have certain ones that they have approved through their bidding process, etc. So whatever internal process they have for selecting providers. So that would be your first point of call, is to have a conversation with your learning and development people to understand which of those approved providers they are happy to work with. But if you wanted to do it independently from your organisation, you could approach any of those. They're all, they all meet our requirements as an association to deliver the content of our courses. But they will have different prices, and so it is worth having that conversation, and that's up to them. We can't get involved in what they charge for their time and resources, and that, how they look might vary as well. So there might be some that will offer a hybrid of in-classroom and virtual delivery. Some will just want to do virtual delivery, some will just want to do classroom delivery. So that's another combination of options, and it's worth thinking about as a learner which approach is best going to suit you, and then work out which one is the right price point, etc. for you.
Okay, that's great. Absolutely. So we've got a question on that theme from Katie. So how much do all the different routes cost, in particular if you've already done Prince 2? Thanks.
Oh, now I would have to look on the website to find that out. It is. Let me see how many clicks this would take to find out.
Yeah, we can put the link in the chat and share that so everybody can have a look. But Katie, I think there's a couple of things here. One is about the training and the training route. So if you've done Prince 2, you might still want to do APM fundamentals, because what Prince 2 doesn't cover is the project management skills around things like stakeholder engagement and managing all of those other elements of the project and the engagement part of it. But in terms of becoming sort of accredited, so the training is provided by training providers. APM accredits those courses, but they're not delivered by the APM. They're delivered by organisations out there, and you can look at different providers, and as Sophie said in the last question, different options for how you want to learn and the different costs of them, and your organisation will then look at that. But another option potentially for those, if organisations are struggling financially, is to have apprenticeship programs, because organisations are already paying for the levy. And the great thing about apprenticeships is you're applying your learning in practice as you learn on programs and projects, and therefore you get the experience of doing it whilst you're learning, you get to reflect on it, and you get to learn from that experience. So it's a great way of learning. So let's have a look in terms of other questions. We've got, I think we're running out of time. There are a couple of other questions, but what I'll do is I will get Sophie to answer those questions or answer them myself, put them in the chat or let people know as a follow-up to it. We will send out a follow-up. So people have asked for the slides. We will send people the slides if that's okay with Sophie. Yep, and also a link for how to register through our corporate partner membership of the APM for those who are members of the HPCA and also working for NHS or health and social care organisations. And then if you do have any more questions, quickly ping them in the chat and we will gather those questions, those answers and send them through to you. Right, fantastic. Thank you so much. And yes, well done for asking all those questions. And thank you so much for all that information, Sophie. That's fantastic. So as I said at the start, this is the first of 4 sessions. The next one, I'm going to have my able assistant, Helen, remind me of when that is. And she will put the information in the chat. The next one we have is coming up, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Next week.
Next week. Yes. Sorry for not having that one to hand. Yes, it is. In fact, it's 1 o'clock next Tuesday, and that's aimed at the next sort of level of development. So those that have got a bit of experience, had a few years getting in and looking for the next direction in terms of travel for their professional development. So yeah, the link is in the chat. Thank you, Helen, ably assisting there. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Fantastic to get your input and hopefully see you next time. Don't forget to sign up and find out what else is going on and get involved. That's how you get your professional career going. Thank you, Sophie.
Lovely, no problem. Thank you. Bye now.